2, 3, make it fun. Make it fun.
Welcome to Boomtown Talk. If you're over 50, we're talking to you.
I'm talking about you. As a matter of fact, I'm talking about all people everywhere.
I'm Jamie Dukes, former Atlanta Falcon. Joining me also, Lee Lambert.
After caregiving my father for about 15 years, he had Alzheimer's. I saw the need for developing a system for what to do and when to do it. So getting prepared for caregiving is the key.
T. Fox.
Aging doesn't necessarily have to mean that you can't live an active lifestyle still. I think that's in people's heads.
And Melinda Davis.
Lifestyle management, healthier lifestyles. How do we support individuals to live in communities of their choice? What needs to happen locally, regionally, statewide, and nationally so that we can all age the way we want to age?
It's all about lifestyle.
Get together with your girlfriends, taking your grandkids out, just making sure you're not just staying at home looking at television.
Sure. Let's just say what it is. Let's date younger men.
Yes.
That'll keep you young.
And welcome to another edition of Boomtown Talk right here on News and Talk 1380 WAOK. That is T. Fox, Melinda Davis, Lee Lambert in the house. And as always, we like to start the show with a bit of information. A lot of things are happening on the landscape, and you really need to know kind of what is going on in the community, and specifically what's happening with the Affordable Care Act. And so Melinda Davis is the one who is providing us with our Obamacare moment. We need to get a sounder for that.
Yeah,
the
we really
Obamacare
do.
moment.
You know, when you said that, I just thought that.
Sounds good.
Dun, 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 dun. The Obamacare moment. Sponsored by News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Okay,
What we got today?
That's it.
All right. For those of you who listened in last week, I mentioned October. Everybody needs to mark down on their calendar October 2013. That's right, October. That is when the health insurance marketplace will be open. It'll be open for information and for people who are currently uninsured to look at health plans that they will be able to enroll in, and the benefits will begin in January 2014. So, again, I want everybody to mark October 2013. Now, to prepare for the enrollment period, we need to do a little education and make sure everybody knows how they can enroll into health care plans. So last week I talked about, think about a shopping mall. Obamacare Healthcare Marketplace is a big mall. There'll be a mall coming to you in your community, in your state.
Any Gucci's? Can we go Gucci shopping?
Yes, every mall will be offering Gucci.
All right.
And other things. But the important thing is everybody needs to know that the plans that will be offered, the health plans that will be offered by health insurance companies in your state. So the Blue Crosses, the Aetnas, these are the companies that are developing plans for the health insurance marketplace. Now, what I asked everybody to do in last week's show is to jot down on a piece of paper what your health insurance needs are. So let's just go through that real quick. You want to be able to go to your doctor's office because you're no longer going to need to go to the emergency room. You'll have a primary care physician, so you'll need to do your outpatient services with a primary care physician.
Let me stop you there because so we
Yes.
can clarify this. So what you're saying now, because traditionally what we know is that people seem to use the emergency room as their primary care physician.
Correct.
And so what you are saying is now they will be able to identify their own physician. So if something happens, they can go.
That is correct. But they will be within a health insurance plan. So in some situations, they'll be able to keep their primary care physician that they have right now, or they'll have to go into the plan and maybe select a new primary care physician. But let's talk about people who had to delay dental care because they didn't have insurance. Well, that's one thing you'll want to look for as you're selecting a health care plan. So you want to write down what your personal needs are. Now, a lot of people do not understand certain terminology. So I want to take this week's lesson and kind of just define some key terms everybody needs to be aware of as they are shopping for their health insurance plan. What is a deductible? A deductible is a specified dollar amount that you will need to pay before the insurance plan will pay. So let's compare that to car insurance. Everybody has car insurance.
Don't remind us.
Yes.
Move forward, all right?
Okay,
Keep
so-
it moving. We know what
Keep it
deductible
moving.
is. We don't even
Okay,
wanna
so
talk
everybody
about it.
knows what a deductible is. But that's something you want to make a note of. Co-payments. This is what you'll have to pay for your cash outlay. So, for instance, if you're going to the doctor's office, you may have a $15 copay, or you may have a $10 copay on prescription drugs. But these are the things you want to look at when you're shopping because you want this to fit your budget.
And I think a lot of people get those mixed up.
Correct.
Because they look a lot like the same thing, but they're not.
Correct.
Between
That's a
a
good
copay
point.
and a
T.
deductible.
Right.
Yeah.
So deductible, co-payment, and the third term you need to be familiar with is out-of-the-pocket maximum. And what that means is your dollar, what you pay in a year. So combined with the deductible, your co-payment, what is your maximum cash outlay in that health plan?
And you combine what you pay in co-pays along with your deductible, and then that will equal your maximum out.
But the
what
insurance
goes
plan,
towards what your maximum.
Exactly.
Okay.
So based upon what your healthcare needs are, you want to look at these three things because you want it to fit your budget.
Okay.
All righty. That was your
That was good.
Obamacare moment.
Yeah.
But that
right
was real
here.
good. That was concise.
No,
I understood
absolutely.
that.
Well,
it was very easy.
Then it was easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Melinda.
We
Thank
have a
you.
very special guest joining us a little bit later on, coming up actually on the other side of the break. And, the mind is a very, very powerful thing. And when we talk about dementia, that's something, there's a science that's here that I think a lot of people don't understand what is going on. So when we come back right here on Boomtown Talk, we're going to talk to a very special young lady, Miriam Robinson, who is actually from the Emory Nursing School. And we'll talk to her in just a moment. I'm Jamie Dukes, retired NFL player and current NFL Network analyst. The diseases of excess weight are taking a toll on the brown community, which includes African Americans, Mexican, Latino, and individuals of Asian descent. That's why the AARP's multicultural outreach is taking the lead to provide you with relevant tools like Chatricize. The AARP is more than just discounts. Did you know the AARP has cutting-edge programs to help boomers take the first steps towards financial freedom? We can help you devise a strategy to manage your money, control your mortgage debt, control consumer debt, and give you the strategy to maintain healthy credit. Boomers, it's time to learn everything AARP has to offer. Log on to aarp.org and make that first step today. And welcome back to Boomtown Talk. I'm Jimmy Dukes. That's Melinda Davis, Lee Lambert, and T. Fox in the house. Joining us right now is Miriam Robinson. She's a roughneck. I'll just say it that way.
No, she's
But that's not by trade. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a second. But she is the project director for the African American Family Dementia Caregiver Project at Emory School of Nursing. And the reason I say she's a roughneck is because she likes football. And she's on a flag football league team. And first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you after all that. Thank you.
Right.
You weren't, well, the one thing you gotta learn about this show, anything could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything might get
goes.
said
Anything
on
goes.
this show.
Anything goes.
She does not look like a football player to
No,
me.
she doesn't.
No, she does not.
She's
But
a little cutesy wootsy. I told her, give me one of those dimples.
is that what it is? Well, you got your Michelle Obama arms working. Too bad people can't see that. But we're coming to video soon. We're coming to video soon so you can see what we look like. Rob Calloway, our esteemed producer, asked a very important question. And the question was, what is the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? And that would be the first question that I would have for you.
Yeah. So if you think about sort of the categories of diseases, dementia is a category of cognitive dysfunction. Alzheimer's is one of the subcategories under that dementia umbrella. So it's a type of cognitive dysfunction, just like vascular dementia, just like Lewy body dementia, dementia associated with Parkinson's disease. There's HIV-related dementia. So it just falls under that dementia umbrella.
So
Well, what about the dysfunction of Rob? Have we come up with a characterization
found that umbrella.
for it? Okay. You don't have that umbrella? Okay.
Rob, I think,
We're looking for that umbrella.
Okay, okay.
No, Rob needs
a team. He needs a team.
When you say dementia, so you're saying that dementia is just a general term,
For cognitive dysfunction.
and then Alzheimer's kind of just drills down
Which type?
specifically
Alzheimer's
to
is
a
the
certain
progressive
part
cognitive
kind of
dysfunction.
dimension. Okay,
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You know, with the advances in medical sciences, many African Americans really shy away from research projects. And the one thing I love about what Miriam does is
Well, Tuskegee will do that to
Yes,
you,
it
okay?
will.
I
It
mean, I
will.
can't blame people now.
yes, but we've come a long way.
I know, but I do
And-
see
But, you
why-
know, I
yeah.
see-
That didn't work real well for us.
It's still, it's still alive. But Miriam, can you talk about how you go about recruiting African Americans to participate in your study?
So Miss T was saying the dimples. No, basically it's just being honest with people. Tuskegee is still very much alive in our culture. We understand the history. Research seems to be like a 4-letter word sometimes when you say to some people, like, you're going to treat me like a gerbil? You're going to poke me?
Right.
But really, to look at it more broadly, that's the way you're represented in literature. So basically, if your voice isn't at the table, if you're not involved, you're not represented. So it's similar to voting. So if you don't get involved, we can't learn about you, we can't serve you as well, that type of thing. So that's sort of how I approach it.
And talk about the study, if you would. What study are
that's
we
exactly
conducting?
what I was about to-
Yeah,
what's the
so it's
study?
the African American Family Dementia Caregivers Project. It's a stress intervention, meaning we're looking at the best ways to reduce stress in the lives of caregivers in the African American community who are taking care of loved ones with Alzheimer's or another form of dementia.
You know what I saw? I was looking at the pamphlet, and it was a very interesting fact on here that it said that that African Americans 71 years and older are 2 times as likely to suffer from Alzheimer's than whites 71 and older. Why is that?
If
Why
you
is
look
that?
at
Is that stress related? Also,
if you
or what
if
is
you
that?
look
Chitlins.
at what the what the risk factors are for Alzheimer's, especially the vascular types of dementia and things like that, the heart disease, high blood pressure, hypercholesterolemia,
Lifestyle, basically.
Yeah, and if you look at the statistics on sorts of health disparities and how rates of those diseases are more prevalent in minority communities, a lot of times it's not a surprise. And on one hand, that is the case, but at the same time, we're still trying to understand it. And that's what makes research so important.
So diabetes is also really prevalent in the minority communities. But, you know, diabetes is one of those stress-related diseases that caregivers in general tend to have a propensity towards because they are under such, stress for such a long period of time. That happened to me. And I gained a bunch of weight, and then I became pre-diabetic. And so I think caregivers...
But you're beautiful now.
You
Thank
are
you.
absolutely
You're
gorgeous.
back, buddy. You're back.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I'm back.
And then wait till we go to video, and they'll see your beautiful smile.
I don't know about them glasses.
So it is. It's so, this whole stress situation with caregivers is I'm so happy you're doing this study. It's needed.
I mean, it's much needed, and I'm glad that you brought that up because when you are a caregiver, being in that role raises your risk level of whatever chronic illnesses you were dealing with. It becomes worse.
Right.
Those risk factors
And
of it becoming worse comes up.
emotional issues too, because there's so many emotional things that happen to you as you're caregiving, depression, all kinds of things.
You're listening to Boomtown Talk right here on News and Talk 1380 WAOK. That's T. Fox, Melinda Davis, Lee Lambert. And also joining us is a very special guest that is in a very interesting conversation, Miriam Robinson. She is here with us.
Miriam, can you describe some of the services if a volunteer is interested in enrolling in the program?
Yeah. So I'm glad you used the term service because it is a research service project. It isn't like we come in the community, take your data, thank you very much, you never hear from us again. You come in, first there is a screening for eligibility. That's how research works. Not everybody can just, there are eligibility criteria. After that process, after you're consented and, you're educated about what takes place and we have your signature signing that, you had a chance to ask questions. That's one of the safety mechanisms in research, which is good. You come in for a baseline health assessment and we look at what types of stress the body might be under. That means we take a little bit of blood. I do mean little, like 3 tablespoons. There's a 6-minute walk test, a strength test. No,
Okay, good.
I
I'm
gave
sorry.
blood yesterday. I can tell you that
Yeah, but
what
you
we
might have
take
gave
is a
blood
little
playing
bit of blood.
football out here. I see you. No?
That was a bad idea. So after that, there's a treadmill test, and you are hooked up to an EKG. Cardiologists do review that, which is good because if we find something wrong, we can let you know. And a lot of people don't get stress tests every day.
So do you make recommendations after this?
The point of the health assessments is to, one, check and see what your sorts of baseline health measurements are before getting involved. And then 6 months later, we do it again after the volunteers have participated in one of the 3 education groups in order to see if there's been any changes. But along the way, if we do find something that's abnormal, we can share that with you, for you to share with your doctor.
That's great.
I noticed that you pay for transportation. I think that's a very interesting benefit.
Yeah, so for the health assessment, it takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. It takes place at Emory Main Hospital. There's a $100 honorarium for that visit. We do cover the parking for that visit, and there's a gas card. I don't want to make it seem like every time you come out, we give you a gas card because there are
Did you bring
group
some
sessions.
samples for us?
Yeah,
samples of gas cards.
So we could try to test them out to make sure that they work
Yeah,
because
I trust
if they
Quick
don't
Trip.
work.
I trust Quick Trip.
I'd be interested in testing. Those gas
Yeah,
cards.
so I mean, the group sessions, we don't provide gas cards for each one of the group sessions, but we're hoping that you find benefit in the education that you're receiving, so it'll make it worth it for the volunteers.
So now, how long is the research program? How long is it? 6 weeks? Is it 8 weeks? How long is
So
the
for each
research?
volunteer, it's 6 months from
Oh,
baseline
okay.
to the 6-month follow-up. That doesn't
Gotcha.
mean we're going to be hounding you for every month. The
Is that
training
once
courses.
a week? Is
So
it-
there's 3 groups. The first group has 1 group session, and they get a packet of information to review on their own over Alzheimer's disease, caregiving, stress reduction, exercise. And then groups 2 and 3 have a 7-session training course where they get caregiver information during those training courses.
Okay.
So up to 7 sessions.
We're going to go to break because I want to bring you back so that we can kind of put a button because it's a lot of information. So I want to kind of narrow it down a little bit just so we can see because I'm really kind of fixated on the mind and the importance of the mind in a bunch of decisions that are being made, and whether it be financially or physically or whatever. So this study I know is vitally important. And so when we come back, we're going to put a button on the show and kind of go into detail, kind of give the ABCs of what needs to be done and how to find out how to do it. You're listening to Boomtown Talk right here on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Hey there, this is T. Fox. Got a question for you. Are you looking for a way to lose some of that excess weight and drop a few pounds? Now, if you said, why, yes, I am, you're probably thinking losing weight can't be much fun, but you're wrong. It's time to get your Chatricise on. You've tried a lot of things, jogging, aerobics, not much fun, right? Well, Chatricise is just for you. Chatricise is based on the super popular cha-cha slide, the shuffle, and the other line dances. You know, all the ones you've enjoyed at family reunions, at parties, and during a night on the town. In addition to our traditional Chatricise workout, we're also proud to offer Boomers Chatricise. Boomers Chatricise is for our seasoned folks in the prime of their lives, and it'll be sure to get everything moving and flowing. Chatricise is affordable for everyone. For only $9.95 plus shipping and handling, get the workout routine that will change your life. I know you've heard it before, but this is for real. Chatricise will change your life. And Boomers, we have an AARP discount of $7.95 plus shipping and handling for you. So you know what to do. Get your Chatricise on today. Log on to chatricise.com. That's CHACHERSIZE.com. Okay, and we are back here at Boomtown Talk. This is T. Fox, Jamie Dukes, Lee Lambert, Melinda Davis, and our little cutesy-wootsy, dimpled-faced, football-playing special guest, Marion Robinson, and she is with the African American Family Dementia Caregivers Research Study. And we really had a great time just speaking with you because the information that you had is so educational. I myself just had one-on-one with a dementia situation just a couple of weeks ago. So this has been really, really helpful for me. So the study you said is a 6-month study. Can you tell me how people can get in touch with you, call you, visit a website? You got an email that they can get in touch with you if they are interested?
Yes. So there are 2 numbers, actually, that you can call. My direct line is 404-727-8481.
Is that the one you want me to give the Falcons?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please. Again, that's 404-727-8481. And there's also 404-727-3499. And if you'd like to just shoot a quick email while you're on the move, since caregivers are so very busy, that is M as in Mary, R-O-B as in boy, I3. So mrobbie3 at emory.edu.
Okay, so the whole thing, and we want to make sure that we flesh this out and make sure that it's really crystal clear that the study is about the caregivers of dementia and Alzheimer's patients. Correct. And what effect the caregiving actually has on the caregiver.
Well, really, research already has told us what effect it has. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do is find out what best way we can figure out to reduce the stress that they're under.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and during the break, what we talked about is how many in the African American community do not even refer to themselves as caregivers.
They don't even. We don't see it that way.
They don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought of the movie Soul Food, and remember the uncle that was upstairs in the room.
Yeah,
he probably had dementia. So we've been doing it for years. But what are some of the opportunities and challenges that you've had in working with the African American community as it relates to caregiving?
As far as opportunities go, caregivers are pretty much the best people in the world. It's been a really rewarding experience. The amount of sort of grace under fire that you see, you would never expect that type of pressure.
Resiliency.
The resiliency is amazing. Folks are so kind and nice. I've loved every moment of it. But it is difficult. When I post a flyer that says family caregivers and you're like, oh, that's not me, but you do the medication, you might be changing folks, helping them with toileting, you keep them safe. I just want to make a checklist like this is you.
I just learned that term, toileting.
Yes.
I just learned that term about 2 weeks ago.
Miriam, I think that caregivers, family caregivers, they really need to think of themselves almost like not like a patient. They're not a patient, but they need to have a personal care plan because they are really at high risk. And so they need to look at themselves as high risk and look at the things they can do to prevent things happening before they do.
Yeah, not the doom and gloom type of high risk, but the opportunities.
No.
I don't have to succumb to uncontrolled high blood pressure. I can take control now, take charge now. I can plan now.
But they need to take it seriously.
Definitely,
because it's almost like, okay, who takes care of the caregiver?
Right.
Who is the pastor's pastor?
Themselves.
Who is the doctor's doctor?
So that's what this study's all about.
Themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I think we, just like what Lee was just saying, in her caregiving experience, when she was taking care of her dad, a lot of us take care of our parents, but we don't look at it as caregiving. Yeah.
But maybe their kids too.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
So they're the sandwich. They're in the middle.
And when she was taking care of her dad, she said, okay, she was eating, she gained weight, she became pre-diabetic, and that was probably a defense mechanism of just trying to deal with the stress of the whole situation.
Right.
So it's amazing.
Depression, all kinds of stuff.
Exactly. It's amazing how many families I talk to, and a lot of times it's women. It's a whole nother thing that might be an issue of what types of verbiage and genderization of the word caregiver we use, and finding the men out there who are working hard for their families as well. But they tell me, before I set up that appointment, let me check mom's schedule. Let me check mom's appointments. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We hear a lot about the mom's appointments, but what about your doctor's appointments?
One thing that I write a lot about is that people don't realize that what's happening to their loved one is happening to them too.
I tell you, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something so strange about what's happening right here. Jamie Dukes has never been quiet this long ever. I don't know what
he's taking notes.
Are you taking notes?
He's outnumbered.
Are you interested?
Well, here's the note I got for you. Show's over. Thanks for listening to Boomtown Talk right here on News and Talk 1380 WAOK.
Thank you, Jamie.